This is not just a story. It is a journey. A journey of love, pain, and truth. A woman loved with all her heart. But one day, her world broke. Secrets came out. Trust was destroyed. She cried alone at night, wondering why life was so cruel. But then, something happened. Something that changed everything. Listen carefully. Every word is simple. Every sentence is easy to follow. You will feel her pain. You will see her hope. And you will not forget this story. Chapter 1. A meeting that changed everything. Barack Obama was a young law student in the summer of 1989. He had come to Chicago to work at a law firm for the summer. He was smart, tall, and full of dreams. He wanted to learn, to grow, and to make a difference in the world. But at that time, he had no idea that he was about to meet the woman who would change his life forever. Michelle Robinson was already working at the same law firm. She was a young lawyer, confident, and very good at her job. She had grown up in Chicago, studied hard, and achieved everything through her own efforts. The firm asked Michelle to guide Barack during his time there. At first, Michelle thought of him only as a student she had to help. She didn't imagine anything more. On their first meeting, Michelle noticed Barack's warm smile and calm voice. Barack noticed Michelle's bright eyes and the way she spoke with passion. They talked about work, but their conversation soon moved to books, life, and dreams. Michelle was impressed by his deep thoughts and his gentle humor. Barack was charmed by her strength and kindness. At first, Michelle did not want to date Barack. She thought it was unprofessional to date someone she was helping at work. Barack respected her feelings, but kept showing his interest. He was patient, friendly, and always sincere. Slowly, Michelle began to see that Barack was not like other men. He was thoughtful and cared about the people around him. One day, Barack invited Michelle to join him for lunch. It was not a fancy lunch, but they laughed, shared stories, and felt a connection growing. That simple lunch became the start of something bigger. Neither of them said the word love yet, but they both knew this was special. A door had opened, and neither wanted to close it. Chapter 2. The First Date. Michelle was not sure about Barack at first. She thought he was smart, but maybe too confident. Still, Barack kept asking her to go out with him. Michelle said no many times. She wanted to keep things professional, but one day, Barack invited her to a community meeting. He said, "It's not a date, just come and see what I do." Michelle agreed. She thought it would be safe. When Michelle arrived at the meeting, she saw Barack speaking to a group of people. He was passionate, his words were full of hope, and he made everyone smile. She saw how much he cared about others. Michelle was impressed. This was not just a man who liked to talk. He wanted to make a difference. That night, she began to see him in a new way. After the meeting, Barack suggested that they get ice cream. Michelle laughed and said yes. They walked to a small ice cream shop. They sat outside, eating and talking. The evening felt easy, warm, and fun. For the first time, Michelle relaxed around him. She realized she was enjoying his company more than she expected. They talked about their childhoods, their families, and their dreams. Barack listened carefully when Michelle spoke. He shared stories that made her laugh, and stories that touched her heart. Michelle felt that he was honest and real. There was no pretending. She liked that. By the end of the night, Michelle knew this was not just another man trying to impress her. This was someone special. The ice cream date was simple, but it was the beginning of something beautiful. As they said goodbye, Michelle smiled to herself. She had a feeling her life might be about to change. Chapter 3. Building a Life Together. Barack and Michelle moved into a small apartment in Chicago after their wedding. They didn't have much money, but they had big dreams and strong love. Michelle decorated the place with second-hand furniture, and Barack often cooked simple dinners. They laughed a lot, even when life felt hard. Their evenings were filled with talks about the future, and their mornings started with kisses before work. They were a team, facing everything together. Barack's political career started to grow. He worked hard, often spending long hours away from home. Michelle supported him, but sometimes she felt lonely. She missed the days when they had more time together. Still, she knew his dreams were not only for himself. He wanted to help people. That made her proud. She decided to stand by him. even when it meant sacrificing her own comfort. Their love was tested, but it stayed strong. Soon, they became parents. Malia was born first, and then Sasha. Life became busier and noisier. Michelle often handled the children's needs while Barack worked. But Barack made sure to spend special moments with his daughters, reading bedtime stories, taking them to the park, and teaching them about kindness. Michelle loved watching him be a father. Their family became their greatest joy. They learned to balance work, family, and love. Sometimes they argued, but they always made up before sleeping. Michelle once said, "Marriage is not about perfection. It's about never giving up on each other." Barack agreed, and they promised to keep choosing each other every single day. By the time Barack began thinking about running for the U.S. Senate, they had built a strong foundation. Their marriage had weathered long nights, financial stress, and the challenges of raising children. They knew bigger challenges were coming, but their love was ready for the road ahead. They believed that together, they could handle anything. Chapter 4. The Weight of the World and the Strength of Love. When Barack became president in 2009, their lives changed in a huge way. The White House was beautiful, but also full of pressure. Barack's days were packed with meetings, speeches, and decisions that could affect millions of people. Michelle now had the role of First Lady, with the eyes of the whole world watching her every move. They both knew life would never be the same again. But they promised each other, no matter how busy or stressed they became, they would not forget the love that brought them here. In the beginning, the sudden fame was exciting. They hosted dinners for leaders from different countries, and Michelle started her Let's Move campaign to help children live healthier lives. Barack often said he was proud of her, not just as his wife, but as a strong and caring leader in her own right. At night, after the official events were over, they would take slow walks through the quiet garden of the White House, holding hands and talking like they always had before politics took over their lives. But there were hard days too. The media sometimes criticized them harshly, and political opponents attacked Barack's decisions. It was easy to feel lonely in such a big place, even with so many people around. On those days, Michelle would leave little handwritten notes on Barack's desk saying, "I believe in you," or "You're my rock." Barack, in return, would bring her flowers from the White House garden or simply hug her without saying a word. These small acts kept their bond strong. Their love became a quiet strength in the middle of chaos. No matter how intense the pressure outside, they knew they could be themselves with each other. They laughed at silly things, like trying to cook together in the small White House kitchen late at night, or dancing in their pajamas when no one was watching. These moments reminded them that they were not just President and First Lady. They were still Barack and Michelle, the couple who once sat in a car eating sandwiches after a long day. By the end of Barack's first term, they had faced more challenges than they could have imagined. But instead of breaking under the weight of responsibility, they had learned how to lean on each other even more. Their marriage was not just surviving, it was growing stronger. They had built a private world of trust, laughter, and love inside the most public house in America. And they both knew, as long as they had each other, they could face anything. Chapter 5. Walking Together into the Future. Life in the White House was exciting, but also full of challenges. Barack and Michelle were always in the public eye, and every word or action was watched by millions. But they supported each other like a team. Michelle often said that Barack made her feel calm, even when the world outside was noisy and stressful. Barack admired Michelle for her strength and honesty. Together, they faced both good days and hard days, holding hands through it all. After Barack's presidency ended in 2017, they finally had more time for themselves. They traveled together, enjoyed dinners without cameras, and spent quiet evenings talking about life. They still remembered the small apartment where their journey began. Even though they had lived in the most famous house in America, their hearts still valued the simple moments. Love, they knew, was not about power or fame. It was about connection. Michelle started writing her memoir, Becoming, sharing their love story and her own life experiences. Barack also wrote his book, A Promised Land. In both books, they spoke with warmth about each other. They wanted the world to know that their marriage was not perfect, but it was real. It was built on trust, laughter, and deep respect. They also worked together on community projects. They created the Obama Foundation to inspire young people. Michelle encouraged young girls to believe in themselves, while Barack mentored future leaders. Their partnership was no longer just about their own dreams. It was about helping others dream bigger. Even today, when they are photographed together, people can see the spark in their eyes. They laugh like they did on their first date, and they talk as if they are still learning new things about each other. Their love story continues, not in grand speeches or public events, but in everyday life. A quiet, steady flame that time has only made stronger. Thank you for staying with me until the very end of this story. Now, I want to hear from you. What part of this story touched your heart the most? Was it the pain, the hope, or the twist at the end? Tell me your thoughts in the comments. I read every single one. If this story made you feel something, even for a moment, please click that like button. It really helps me bring you more stories like this. And if you love learning English through emotional and powerful stories, make sure to subscribe and turn on the bell icon so you never miss the next one. Your support keeps this channel alive, and together we can make English learning unforgettable. I'll see you in the next story.